Okay, so you just got one of those official-looking envelopes from the IRS. Your heart probably did a little jump, right? Well, if the letter inside says CP2000 Notice, I want you to just take a deep breath. We're going to walk through this together, and I promise by the end of this, you'll have a clear, calm, and confident plan. Let's get into it. And hey, that's a totally normal reaction. Seeing a letter from the government that says you might owe thousands of dollars you weren't expecting, yeah, that's enough to rattle anyone. But I want you to focus on one key word in that notice: proposed. Because that scary letter, it's almost certainly not a bill. And it is definitely not a formal audit. Really, what it is the start of a conversation. And you're about to learn exactly how to lead that conversation. So here's our game plan. We're going to break this down into 4 simple parts. First, we're going to kill that anxiety by explaining what this notice really is. Then we'll take a guided tour of the actual document you're holding. After that, we'll look at some super common reasons you might have gotten one, especially if you're retired. And finally, I'll give you the exact step-by-step instructions to reply like a pro. Okay, first things first, and this is the most important part. We need to get the fear out of the way because what you've received is a whole different animal than a full-blown IRS audit. I mean, the difference is night and day. A formal audit? That's a human being, a revenue agent who wants to examine your life, your books, your finances. They're searching for things they don't know. But a CP2000? Nah, that's just a piece of paper. It's an automated letter spit out by a computer that found a simple mismatch. It's not accusing you of anything, it's just asking for some clarification. And the person behind this is really just a robot. It's all part of the IRS's Automated Underreporter Program, or AUR for short. Think of it as this giant computer system that takes your tax return and compares it to billions of other documents from banks, brokers, and employers. If it sees your bank reported you earned $100 in interest, but your return doesn't show it, beep, it flags a mismatch. It's just a math problem, not a personal investigation. Which brings us to the elephant in the room, that huge, terrifying number on the front page. Why on earth is it so high? Well, the simple answer is the computer doesn't have all the facts. This is usually because of something called the zero basis problem. Sounds fancy, but it's really simple. Let's say you sold some stock for $50,000. The IRS computer sees that sale. But if for some reason it doesn't see what you originally paid for the stock, your cost basis, it just assumes you paid zero. So it tries to tax you on the entire 50 grand as pure profit. It's just a big, dumb, dummy number. And I'm not kidding. Look at this. This is from a real CP2000 notice. A client got this in the mail, proposing a tax of over $21,000. Can you imagine the sheer panic of opening that letter? But, and this is the amazing part, after they simply responded and provided the missing piece of the puzzle, the cost basis, look what happened. The whole situation flipped. Not only did they not owe 21 grand, the IRS actually owed them a $15 refund. That's the power you have here. You have the missing data. Okay, so how do you start to fix this? Well, you have to know what you're looking at. So grab that notice and let's take a quick tour through the document so you can become an expert on it. Right on page 1, you'll see a few key things. Make sure the notice number at the top says CP2000. Check the tax year and your social security number to make sure they're correct. Now, see the notice date? Circle it. That's really important because it starts a 30-day clock for you to respond. And finally, find something called the AUR control number. You're going to need that number for any letter you send. Now, flip a few pages in and you'll find the real meat of the notice. It's a table with 3 columns, and it's pretty simple. Column 1 is shown on return. That's what you said. Column 2 is reported by others. That's what your bank or broker told the IRS. And column 3, difference. Well, that's the mismatch. That's the whole reason this notice exists. So what kind of mismatches usually trigger these things? Let's go over a few scenarios that pop up all the time, especially for seniors and retirees. The home sale is a classic. You sell the house you've lived in for decades. You know you qualify for that big capital gains exclusion, so you correctly don't report the sale as income. But the title company sends a form to the IRS showing the $400,000 sale. The computer sees that, assumes you paid zero for your house, and boom, sends you a crazy tax proposal. The fix is so simple. You just write back and prove you qualified for the exclusion. Problem solved. Gambling is another big one. Let's say you hit a $2,000 jackpot. Great, but you know that over the course of the year, you actually lost more than you won. So you figure it's a wash. The problem is, the casino only tells the IRS about your big win. They have no idea about your losses. The IRS computer only sees income. So, to fix it, you agree that yes, you won the money, but you provide records of your losses to cancel it out. And of course, sometimes it's just the simple stuff that slips through the cracks. A tiny dividend statement that got lost in the mail, a retirement distribution, or maybe your Social Security benefits weren't reported quite right. The fix here is just to be a detective. Pull out your own records and compare them, line by line, with the notice. You might find you actually did miss something and owe a little bit, but the goal is to get to the right number, not the computer's scary first guess. Okay, you understand the notice, you know why you got it. Now for the most important part. Let's talk about how to respond. This is where you take control and solve the problem. Now, before you do anything, listen closely. This is the biggest mistake you can make. Whatever you do not file an amended tax return, a Form 1040X, to fix this. The CP2000 is handled by a totally separate department at the IRS. Filing an amended return will just cross the wires, confuse their systems, and slow everything way, way down. Instead, you're going to use the response form that came in the envelope. It's easy. You basically have two choices. The first is, I agree. You only check this box if you've looked at everything and you know for a fact that the IRS is 100% right. For almost everyone, especially if there's a zero basis problem, you'll check the second box, I do not agree. Now, if you check that I do not agree box, you just need to include a short, simple letter explaining why. And I mean simple. You don't need to be a lawyer or an accountant to write this. Your letter just needs a few things. Put your name, social security number, and the tax year at the top. Make sure you include that AUR control number. Then just write a clear sentence like, I respectfully disagree with the proposed assessment. Explain why in one or two sentences. Something like, the IRS failed to account for my cost basis on the sale of my home. And then just attach copies of your proof. Never send your originals. And that's really all there is to it. You have to remember, this notice is not a verdict. It's not a judgment. It's just a hypothesis from a machine that's missing some information. Your response is you, the human, providing the missing data to solve the equation correctly. You are not at the mercy of the IRS here. You are in control. You have the power to correct the record. So now that you know how to handle this, maybe just take a moment to think, what's one small thing you could do this week? Maybe create a new folder or scan a few documents to get a little more organized for the future. That way, you'll be even more ready for anything that comes your way.